What systems would be good for a coach to have?
Claudio might be best to take this one.
Yep. So initially, when you're starting out, a few couple of systems is more so from a tracking perspective. So knowing like when people are coming out or coming in or outreaching and how to follow up with them, it's one of the easier systems. Now you've got we call it pipeline management, and that's a bit like a bit more marketing like reference, but really it's just keeping track of everyone you're speaking to. Like at the end of the day, you can how you manage that and where they're at, and making notes of when you're communicating, when you're following up, using your calendar, which is another system I'll shortly get into. But having that is probably one of the biggest priorities, especially in the starting phases, because typically it's easy to get forgotten about. Now, I know I actually did a recent training as part of our clients in one of our groups about some coaches having a bit of issues with like the follow-up, feeling that it's a bit rude to follow up and things like that, which is a mindset shift in the process. But
Yes.
you know, we know personally, for me, anyone who follows me up, especially when there's a pain point, I actually feel extremely valued. If I'm forgotten about or someone stops following up on me, I actually think that the care was never really there. So it's
Right.
more rude to not follow up. And a good tracking system just helps you keep that aligned, because you're going to be wearing 100 hats. You're going to be doing heaps of things. You're serving clients. You're doing your own marketing. You're doing your brand. Like there's all these things. So the tool is just an assistance for you that you keep track of people where they're at, because some people are never going to be ready. I believe it's like 3%. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but I believe it's 3% that people are ready to buy.
Yes.
And so the mindset I have is like, oh, it's probably going to be about up to 11 touch points before someone says, yeah, those who have shown interest. And knowing that that involves essentially 10 follow-ups.
Absolutely. Yes.
So that would be one. And then the follow along the complement that is just understanding how to use your calendar. So a good calendar system. Now we all have our calendars. Like I use Google. You know, others might use Outlook. But how you set up your days. Now we're big on seasons, so very from an eco perspective, that side of things. So I like to structure my days upon my strengths. So Mondays being a little bit more introverted, that might not seem like it, but a little bit more from that side of things. I would have Mondays as more of a development day versus meetings days. So
Nice.
everything is based on that. While Thursdays, for example, is networking. So, and then I measure what that would mean. So Monday would be very much, if it's development, it might be winter, my representation of winter. And Thursday, because I'm networking and doing sales, it's summer because it's all about growth and being out there. And it falls in line with how I operate day to day based on my activities outside of business and other activities that I'm doing. So that's just a methodological approach to how you use a calendar. And I think if you have those two systems in place at the start, very quickly and you keep consistency in your momentum for marketing, you're going to very quickly be able to manage a lot with people coming in, following up, and business growing like this. So those are my main two systems that I would recommend.